Will drinking water every 15 minutes prevent the infection of COVID-19?
No.
To fully understand the false claim, let's first talk about what COVID-19 really is. COVID-19 is a virus that causes a respiratory infection, which is mild to moderate in most people, but severe infection is more likely to develop in the elderly, immunocompromised people, and individuals with other comorbidities. Viruses are something that we don't consider to be alive because they cannot survive or reproduce without a host cell. Instead, they replicate through two processes. The first is the lytic cycle, where the virus infects a cell and immediately replicates and assembles copies of itself. The second is the lysogenic cycle, where the virus incorporates itself into the host cell's DNA, undetected by the immune system. Now it is known as a provirus and can trigger at any moment to replicate and assemble new viruses. Since the symptoms of COVID-19 show in about 2 weeks, it gives an indication that COVID-19 uses the lytic cycle. This virus is also specifically an RNA virus, meaning that its genes tend to mutate and change more often, making the finding of a vaccine more difficult. RNA is ribonucleic acid, and unlike DNA in a few ways. RNA is single-stranded, unlike the double helix of DNA. It has the nitrogenous base uracil instead of thymine, and has ribose sugar in its backbone, rather than deoxyribose. COVID-19 is transmitted through droplets, which is the warm, moist air leaving our bodies condensing into droplets. The way this moist air leaves our body is with the relaxation and contraction of the diaphragm. When your diaphragm relaxes, the volume of your lungs expands, thus lowering the pressure and allowing air to flow into your lungs. When your diaphragm contracts, it pushes your lungs up, decreasing their volume and increasing the pressure, allowing air to leave the lungs. Now that we have a little background about viruses, COVID-19, and the transmission, it will help us to better understand why the claim is false and find out where it came from. The false claim originated from a Facebook post. It was made saying that Japanese doctors have given this advice and described it as serious, excellent advice. As a matter of fact, this post is very misleading because Japanese doctors did not give this advice, and because this claim has not been proven to work. This person claims that drinking water every 15 minutes would wash all the virus particles down into your esophagus and away from your windpipe and lungs. Once in your esophagus, it would make its way to the stomach, where the acid would kill the virus and prevent it from infecting you. This claim may be very dangerous, as some people may take it seriously and drink an excessive amount of water to try to prevent an infection. If this happens, the excess water would dilute the amount of sodium in your body and lead to hyponatremia. Hypo meaning low and natremia meaning sodium presence in the blood. This would seem harmless at first, but eventually would lead to serious symptoms such as fatigue, weakness, and even potentially death. Kalpana Sabapathy, a clinical epidemiologist, explains how this is wrong. She says that people who are infected had millions of virus particles in their body, too many to all be washed down into the esophagus. The virus could also enter the body and infect someone through other ways, such as through the eyes and nose. And finally, even though the virus is washed down into the stomach, the virus has been found to endure environments with low pH levels, such as in the stomach, meaning the virus may still be active to infect you. Instead of listening to rumors of ways to flush the virus out of our bodies, we should focus on keeping it out in the first place, by using methods such as wearing a mask, washing our hands regularly, avoid touching our faces, and keeping 6 feet apart from each other.